a universe, and we're talking about comics, and we were talking about NFTs. Now we are going to talk about the movie of all movies that really can NFT or mint a time. And the funny thing about this film and this concept is that it was just like a half story, a half idea, a half sentence that we had kicked around, and look at it now. Now it's turned into a T-shirt, a meme, a car, a movie, a website. Like it's really a movement, and there is no person other than this man right here that I could see start a movement in such a manner, in such a way. And his name is Jeff Crane. He is a mentor. He is a brother. He is a father. He is a comedian. He is a cornball. He is a genuine hype man and somebody that I call a friend, a brother, a confidant, and you know, hey, just between us two girls, you know, somebody that I hope to know until the end of my days. Hey, Jeff, talk to us about. Aw. Oh, and also my first, my first, my first sale of these dream hats was from Jeff Crane. He saw a belief in it before I even really saw a belief in it, and we're here, and this is the culmination. So this is NFT the movie, producer, creator, and just mascot Jeff Crane.
Yes, I am. I am a mascot. And I remember you had that hat on your head, and then I put it on my head. You know when you see those magazines are like really handsome and beautiful women, and then you put their clothes on, you don't look anything like them. That's what happened. Because he could. If there's another, can I borrow it for a second? I'm just gonna prove it. Okay. I look like a freaking Gilligan's Island. Like I'm the captain or the skipper or something like that. I'm like, welcome to Jeff Crane's Island. So let's put it back on the model. Mine's on the at the house, and I do have a receipt. It was $40. You can't pay anything less than that. So maybe 100. So you got a what do I need to do? What's the question?
What's the question? Why NFT the movie? Why not just create NFTs? Why do you feel that you're the person that understood what this time was, and why are you telling this story?
That's such a great question. And ironically speaking, there's some people here in the crowd, you know, Corey and Landon and Parker and yourself, and I see Gretchen in there, right? All the Puerto Rican peeps. And I remember I was down there with Brian Christensen, right? Block Cities. And I was wearing his shirt and advising for him. And one of the first times ever I could just sit back and watch people instead of being on the job. Like I was on the job for him, but I was kind of like enjoying it. You know what I mean? Because when you get paid by somebody else, it's like you're an employee. Let's just be honest. And when it's on your own time, you don't have any time. So I sat back and I watched what everybody was doing, and even the most smartest people were having FOMO. I was like, dude, this is weird because these are the people who are leading the charge typically, and now they're like scrambling. They're going to Dubai, going to freaking Miami, going to LA, Utah, and I thought, wow, I'm going to jump in. So that was a very good question. Here's what happened, and I think you know the story. So in the 90s, I created creditcardrates.com and homeclassifieds.com. And so what we do is we go back. It's kind of like a rubber band. You know, you stretch it back and it goes back to form. And so my instinct was, well, I'm going to pick up a property and I'm going to compete, right? I can get ahead of everybody. So I picked up nftclassifieds.com and it was freaking available. This was like 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago. Picked it up for $12.17. And then I came to my senses in the morning because you don't make decisions at 2 a.m. Okay, you wait till your subconscious gets involved. I woke up in the morning. I'm like, are you crazy? You're going to get your clock clean because there's so many smarter people than you, and you haven't even started it yet. This isn't to dissuade from people from getting involved, but I knew that I was going down a path of pain because when you're an entrepreneur, it's like you're going through a torture device, and you want to. right? Is that not true? We are tortured souls, artists, musicians, filmmakers, entrepreneurs, right? So what I did was I put it on Facebook, and I won't say the last name, but I said, "Hey guys, I'm going to sell it before I go to auction. $2,500 minimum bid." 5 minutes later, a good friend Pedro in Puerto Rico, who runs the longest standing, I love you, Pedro, longest standing, what is it, blockchain event, Crypto Mondays, for 3 years, which is when I first went to Puerto Rico. He bought it. And I'm just going to tell you, because it's in the movie, $8,500. And I gave him a discount. He's a good man. And so I started the business with $12.17. And I did that on purpose.
So you're just saying $12. This is really what an NFT is, pretty much. Like $12.50 you purchase something. Oh, $12.17. 17. And I'm bilingual, y'all. I didn't know that. And it turned into, on a discount, $8,500. Wow.
And that's when I needed to do this movie. Because I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's incredible. You put a couple freaking letters in front of something, and you just pick it up, and you're like, hey, you want to buy it? So I got NFTthemovie.com and all the derivatives and all that other stuff. And the first thing I did, and I'm going to just lift up the kilt, first thing I did was I got T-shirts. Just freaking do something. Take the trash out. Do something. Because get it out of your head. So I got T-shirts. And then my good friend, NLP, you look up, my friend Landon Reed, I said, I need a website. Within 24 hours, Puerto Ventures, whom I love dearly, they lent land into me, and they contributed, and they built NFTthemovie.com. So besides for my mother and Ken Bozak, Landon Reed was my biggest inspiration. And so when the website went up, I'm like, dude, people, okay, let me explain something to you. The only reason I'm doing this is because people said I couldn't. When I told them what I was doing, they had nothing to say. What are you going to say? I'm doing one too? No, they had nothing to say. So I'm like, dude, this is awesome. I'm just going to keep going. And now I'm here in Miami, and we just did the event yesterday, I'm just going to say it, shitcoin event. And Ken Bozak's just an absolutely wonderful soul. And I'll tell you something, I feel like it was 3 years ago in Puerto Rico during Puerto Crypto, bro, where we first met.
Wow. You know, that was one of the times. Thank you. You know, that was one of the times where you know, I was brand new to the island, looking for where I fit in the whole thing. Didn't really understand the grasp of the full crypto community. Didn't really know who Brock Pierce was. Didn't know Pedro. Didn't know the monastery. I just knew that there was energy going on in Puerto Rico. I was just someone with a bit of knowledge of a couple of things, and that my friend was catering a party that night. That was it. Those guys that were cutting up the fish on the table, those are my friends. They said, hey, Major, come on down. So as I walk into the building, who walks by me with this row of just like cool Asian dudes but Brock Pierce? So Brock Pierce walks by, says, what's up? I say, what's up? Oh, sweat, that's Brock. He just walks in. No in the script. He probably doesn't even remember it himself. He had his hat, definitely. Probably doesn't even remember it. So I walk in, and there is this, like, I've never seen that many people in a building before, especially with a building as big as the monastery. And this was your party. And we had about 500 people there. Fire hazard, full-on fire hazard. There might have been someone or might have not been. Okay, we won't even talk about who fell off the roof. And was that? Yeah. Yeah, it was mayhem. And I tell you this, it was, you know, the guy from Utah's fault. You know what I mean? Like one would never think that a raucous party would come from somebody from Salt Lake region. But well, whatever. No, 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 no. In my mind, you're from Utah. But I'm gonna tell you this, that's the beauty about him because of his generosity, his genuineness. You would think he comes from a place where people just all trust. He's from friggin' LA. He's almost a cholo. You know what I mean? Like facts. And but he also kind of understands and grasps like he's learned a lot. Like if I'm gonna talk about you a little bit, um we all have our inspiration, we all have our influences, and this man grew up with a father who was able to kind of set framework that he still lives on to with this day. And it's really revolves around giving value, being of service, and just being a nimble-minded person. You know, I tell you, it's the type of conversations that we have just go back and forth. It's really about life. You know, if there may be a couple of times we really talk strategy, sit down, but all of our interactions, at least to get me to this point, as I look at you as a mentor, is has really just been life conversations. And I firmly believe from your dad being that rep that was able to negotiate a range of not just people that only bought from him, but gave him that service that allowed them to continue that. You know, this is what NFT the movie is really all about. The fact that NFTs are not like NFTs are service agreements. You know, like to use those right and how you're highlighting in this, it's you're being a big service because at the end of the day, we need to have more people know about this in the way that you're telling the story.
Two things. So my dads are great. My dad Doug and my dad Steve Crane, and I'll tell you, they were wonderful influences. But one of the reasons you and I are connected is because my mother's my hero. She's the freaking bomb. She's the one. She's the one. She's the one. No offense to the dads. Number two, NFTs, no freaking or effing takers. No effing takers, right? We're no, and another thing, we keep each other accountable, brother. Because I remember it was like during Brock's campaign when I was fortunate enough to help out with Brock. I remember we bumped into each other and it was mask time. Remember with the masks, and I was sitting at this beautiful place where we were helping Brock, and all of a sudden Major walks in, of course, with his mask, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And we hadn't seen each other for a couple of years, 2.5 years, and it came up and. Yeah, man, you couldn't like pry me off with a hose. I was just so excited to see Major. And then what happened shortly after I went home, we started having weekly calls, like kind of accountability calls from each other. And I remember I'd be in my car, we couldn't hear, but then we talk about a whole bunch of stuff. And dude, I love you, man. I freaking love you. And what's great about it is people like yesterday, they're like, I met Major. And I'm like, yes. Part of my body is floating around Miami because I feel like we're just so connected. NFT the movie, if I can jump into this real quick, is really about people. Like this has happened before since the dawn of time, man. You have the Sadducees and the Pharisees, and you have the people who are they live by the Spirit or they live by the law. And I live by the Spirit, man. You live by the Spirit. Everybody in this room lives by the Spirit. It doesn't mean that we ignore the law, because the laws allow us technology-wise to be able to, ones and O's and X's and whatever. And so the thought process was, as I see all my friends sitting here, and I know stories, I know who hugs really well, so stay away from Parker because I'll crack your ribs. I know Captain. I know Corey right there. I know what's going to happen. And Landon. I know their hearts, and I thought, oh, how wonderful would it be? See, let me share something with you, if I may, and I'll pass this back to you. I believe that everybody's tuned into the same frequency. And I didn't make this up. It's WYIFM. It's what's in it for me. And as much as we're altruistic, and as much as we want to help other people, when that beautiful gal or guy or the system comes on and says, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Crane Air. I hope you got your air insurance. I'm not sure you're going to make it. But when the mask pops down, why don't you just put it on somebody else? No, they don't say that. You put it on yourself first, self-sustainable, then you can help other people. So if that's the case, then now I have people that are my friends that I can say, hey, man, tell me your story. And there's people that I've met in here See, John Garza is somebody I met in Austin. Freaking love that guy. The story you're going to see on NFT the movie, do not drink milk and be careful. Blow your nose before because you will shoot a booger across the room. It was so freaking funny. And I met John the very first time I met him. I was like, I love this guy. And I just want him to tell a story because we don't compete. I couldn't compete if I wanted to. This freaking guy owns all the art. Well, anyway, he's really good at what he does. And so I thought, wow, how could I just be an extension of what they're doing, but just asking them? And I'm like, I'll just tell you. And how fun is that to not to have a threat in your life? Men, women, child, it doesn't matter what it is. We face threats. Miami, do you, your freaking roads suck. The threats are real. But then when you can walk into a room and you know that you have your back covered. I was on Ken Bozak's podcast the other day, and there were 3 people, Nathan, myself, and Ken. And I said, gentlemen, if we stood up and faced each other and then turned around, we'd have each other's backs. You have your peripheral. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like I live in a life of people who have my back. And NFT the movie is really about them. I just have the tenacity enough to go, you know what? I got the domain. I got a T-shirt. I got a website. Nobody said I can't do it. I've never done a movie before. Let's freaking make a movie.
You know what? The proverbial mic drop. That was it. Guys, this is Jeff Crane, and this is NFT the movie. I'm very happy to be an advisor on the film, associate producer or whatever, a friggin', mascot. I don't mind. But no, to be able to advise on something and be able to wear an actual NFT shirt that's an NFT really solidifies the game. And I just want to say thank you for harassing me. Thank you for seeing dope stuff in me. Thank you for really always lionizing me, and thank you for anything that you do for us. Yeah, not everything is altruistic, but there's sometimes, man, you just, no matter if you make money off of it, it just feels good.
Let me say one thing. I know we gotta go. So listen, the last time we were together, we were at a party, and you brought this Caribbean music and whatnot, and nobody was dancing. So I went out there and I started. Yeah, who's laughed? Yeah, I went out there dancing. I'm like, dude, I'm freaking ripping it up. And then you freaking started dancing, and you did little. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was like, dude. So I still look up to you because there's no freaking way in the face of the planet I'm ever going to be able to move like you do. So thank you, dude. Thank you for everything. I love you so much, brother.
All right, guys. NFT the movie. If you are not looking for it after this, I don't know what the heck you're looking for, but I got some questions. Questions in the back. Yes. Yeah.
I love this guy. He's asking such a rhetorical question because who it came from is a freaking genius. Absolutely, it's going to be an NFT. And the best part about it is, no offense to Hollywood or anybody else who is, so to speak, lives that life. I don't need you, man. I don't need your distribution. It'd be wonderful if we were on a place that everybody in the world could see it, but we're going to sell this through an NFT. We're going to cut this into 5 pieces. There's going to be collectibles. People are going to make money on it, and they're not going to hodl. No friggin' way am I going to have somebody come in and buy 1,000 tickets. I know how to say no, and I can say it with grace, or I can say it with medievalness, and I can tell you right now, this is the best business to be in. I was having a conversation the other day. They're like, what kind of people are in your movie? I go, they're givers. Because if I find out they're a taker, I can freaking edit them. You know how many time in business, you get in business with somebody and you lay your head down at night, you're like, dude, I got to go back to work and with that freaking person. Dude, they're so done. So our movie is a movie that will continue on. There's no sequels. We'll have NFT the movie released in 2022. We will win an Oscar. We will win an Oscar for this movie. We will. We will win an Oscar for this movie. Because it is something that when people see it, they're like, what freaking planet have these people been living on? That they have to be staked to live in a hotel on the floor with 50 other people, and they're the most genius people on the planet with the best hearts ever, giving their last dollar to somebody else so that person could sleep on the floor. And they're creating what's called the operating system. I don't know how much time we have, but I'm going to tell you a little story. So in the 80s, 81, 82, how are we doing on time? 2 minutes? Okay, it'll be 3. Thank you. I know how I am, so I'm not going to lie. So I get this Texas Instruments because I lived in an upper middle class, okay? And I get this computer. I'm like, what the freak am I going to do with it? I felt like Zoolander. I was like pounding on it, like, where are the files? Because it didn't have an operating system. The people that are in this town, the people that are sitting in front of us, they're creating this freaking amazing operating system, and they haven't had to ask permission from anybody. So people come up to me all the time, and they try to transact me. Hey, do you have distribution? Do you have this? Do you have that? I'm like, nope. They're like, what do you mean? I don't need it. The conversation's over. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it up for an NFT, and those that know how to get the NFT will get it. And that's who's supposed to get it. When Jesus was on the planet and he was talking in sermons, the people who got it got it. He didn't go around and go, did you get this? And force them to get it? They'll get it in their time. And so when the time comes, all of our friends will get it first. All of our family will get it first. Some will be gifted, maybe, major. And then others will have to get it from us. It's not going into some golden vault all the way on the other side of the planet so some person can go, hey, you want it? What are you going to give me for it? Evil. No, man. It's going to be, you want it? You're going to have to pay for it because I bought it first because I was here first. And I listened to Jeff and I listened to Major and I took the advice of other people. We want everybody to be included, but at some point you got to put the freaking mask on your face. And that NFT movie is the mask.
Boy, that's the mask. Indeed. Indeed. Well, yeah, man, you know, there's people that talk about it and there's people that be about it. Jeff Crane is definitely about it. Thank you so much, Jeff.